from where you're sat. Oh, I can see him.
Yeah, I can see him.
Are we ready, guys?
Yeah, whenever we're ready. We're ready. Rock and roll, yeah. So who's asked? Is he going to answer the first question, or should I? Or is it both?
Yeah. Okay. So are we ready? We've just been told we're ready.
Oh yeah.
I'll pitch it at you.
Yeah. Go on.
We all good, yeah?
Yes.
All right. Hi, James. Matt from Cardiff Sport TV, and just wanted to know a little bit more about Aussie rules and the big Fitzpatrick Cup this weekend. Can you just tell us like how the cup's going to work a little bit and where we can go down and watch you guys play?
Yeah, so we've got our tournament next Saturday. We're playing teams from Queensland, from Northern Ireland. We've got Birmingham University, and then we've got Cambridge and Oxford University coming down. It's just going to be a tournament. We're going to be playing all teams. It's going to be 9 minutes each half, and whoever wins the most games, the teams with the most games who won, they'll go to a final, and the other teams will play like third and fourth playoffs. So that's what's going to happen. We're looking forward to it. It's taking place at St
Peter's.
St Peter's, yeah. Just remember the location, but it's going to be a fun day, and we're very much looking forward to it.
On that, you're the coach/player. How are you preparing your team for, like you say, so many fixtures? It'd be about 5 or 6 games in one day. Preparing your team for sort of fitness demand. So
last Thursday we had our first training session back after Christmas, and to be fair, the boys did really well, considering like some of these lads are new to the sport and starting to pick up on it. And the first training session we had was by far the best training session I got. I just feel now with the boys we got, I think they're just going to get better and better now. There's still more improvements that need to be done, but I feel like with the commitment, the motivation and determination they've all got, I believe they're going to go beyond what I think is going to be much better than I believe it will be.
9-a-side then. What pitch dimensions are you on as well?
We're on a rugby-sized pitch, so in Australian rules it's more like an oval pitch, but over here, because we don't have that, we play on a rugby-sized pitch. So yeah, it's still more running, still a lot of breathing, but it's good. But yeah, we try and make it as Aussies as much as possible we can. So yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Joe Breyer, Cardiff Sport TV. So as you know, Aussie rules is a popular sport over here in Wales. So have many of your players played the game before coming to university?
I think Aussie rules in Wales, especially in the UK, is developing a lot more. Because in England, I know they have the London leagues. They take it very, very seriously. They actually play on like full-size pitches, full 18s and everything. Now we obviously want to achieve that sort of level, and by doing that, we kind of work alongside other clubs within the area, try and build everything up from the ground almost. So like we're working together with like the Panthers and things like that as well, who use St Peter's Rugby Club, which is why we're using it, because it's got those sort of like links. And then to try and do that, we're trying to build up Wales AFL altogether, because it's very similar to like rugby, and obviously rugby is very big in Wales. So getting a lot of the rugby ideas into Aussie rules, getting a lot of the lads into it, especially because it's in a different sort of season, it'd be incredible for us.
And how's the team preparing? Obviously it's been a year, it's been disrupted with training and everything. Do you feel there's a lot of new guys coming into the squad, learning new rules?
Yeah, there's loads of new guys coming into the squad. They're all probably better than me, and I've been playing it for about a year or two now. So getting all these new guys in is both great for us. We find out that a lot of them have rugby backgrounds as well, so it's also great to see. But yeah, I think at the minute our training is going extremely well because of Coach Cal. But yeah, my fitness definitely needs to improve, especially if we're going to start playing these 6 or 7 game tournaments. It's going to be a big day.
And also you have the Fitzpatrick Cup coming up in the next few weeks. What are your ambitions for that?
The ambition is always to win. It'll never not be to win. Given the sides that we've played before, Oxford, Cambridge, we know that they're good. They've always been good, especially because, like I've mentioned, the London leagues, they get a lot of players from around those sorts of areas that have already played externally. So they're an already very well-established team. But in terms of the Irish teams and stuff like that, we have no idea what we're going into. So the aim there is just to play well, play strong, play to the best of our ability, and hopefully get the win out of it.
Hi guys, Quiva from Cardiff Sport TV. Now, as you mentioned, the Irish teams, they are current reigning champs for the last 3 years, coming from UCC down in Cork. At the moment, I don't think it's been released that they're attending. Do you think that will affect the way you play at all? And if you were to come up against the reigning champs, how would you attack that game?
I think we just got to go with it with an open mind. Like you said, we don't know. We never played this team before, so this is going to be first time for it. But I think what we can do is take away a lot from it, from this team. Like you say, we won it 3 times in a row. We can learn a lot from them if we do get the chance to play them. But it's not like with the other teams that we play so far, like Oxford, Cambridge, and Uni Birmingham. We always learn more about the games that we do play, and it makes us better as a squad. So whatever happens, win or lose, the main thing for us is going to be a massive learning experience. We've got to use that opportunity to learn from it, how we can better, but also what are they doing so good that we can take away for our sessions in the future that can help us make us a better team.
Yeah. And then what advice would you give to people looking to get into the sport, and like how would you advise them to get involved?
So we're on social media quite a lot. So we're a part of the Cardiff Met Aussie Roars. You can find out us on Instagram. Also, you can type in Cardiff Panthers as well on Facebook, because we've got strong links with them as well. And if they'd like to get involved, they can drop us a message through social media accounts, or they can come to me through Callum Hills on Facebook, or they can type my name through the student accounts through email, and just come down to a training session down on a Thursday, 6 till 7:30, near the football pitch by the athletics track.
Yeah.
And just come down, just give it a go. I think the main thing is there's no like, you have to be a good player or you need these specific skills to take part in Aussie Roars. As long as you've just got the motivation, the drive, and get along with everyone, then that's all we care about, really.
And is it just catered towards guys, or do you have a mixed team or a women's team as well?
We do have a women's team. If we could find enough players to have a women's team,
Yeah.
that would be
You have
incredible.
people that are interested.
Yeah, every year our aim at the Freshers' Fair is always like get more women in. Let's get a massive women's team push this year, and sadly it never quite pulls through. So if there are any women involved, obviously come along to training. We're really friendly. We're not going to come and. I mean, they're probably going to beat us up, but yeah, I mean, obviously with the links to Cardiff Panthers as well, they've got a really strong women's team. I think they're trying to run 2 women's teams this year, an A and a B team. So if you can't make a women's team at the university, there's always that opportunity to go down, join the Panthers. Their pre-season starts soon, so they've got 2 women's teams coming up, which is going to be great for Wales AFL in general.
Yeah, so a lot of your aim by the club is just getting more knowledge about the sport out there, so they gain as much exposure as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think that's all from us, guys.
Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.
Just one question then. How does it, you say it's similar to rugby, how does it differ though? In terms of the games, there's just less tackling involved.
Less tackling, I wouldn't describe it as that. I'd say it's a forwards and backwards game in rugby. You pass the ball backwards. Generally, the only forwards play you've got is kicking. Now, because we kick the ball quite a lot, generally you want players all over the pitch. You just want them in big formations, big lines. The tactics are very different as well. So we've got a forward line, a back line, and we've got our midfields as well. Our midfields play probably the most crucial role in getting the ball between the back line and the front line. So it's similar to football in the sense that you've got your strikers, your defenders, your midfielders, but then in terms of rugby with the physicality and the kicking and obviously the shape of the ball, and we play on a rugby pitch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
One more from me as well. How does the point system work?
You can take that one.
Yeah, we still struggle ourselves sometimes, so we're still learning. But so obviously in Aussie Rules you have 3 posts. So you have the main one is like you score 6 points. So that's the aim for every player to do, try and get into that. But if it goes in between the goals, it's then 1 point, I believe. Yeah, 1 point. So as long as you get it into that main goal, that's the main thing. And by doing that, you just have to kick it through and get it in between the posts.
There's no crossbar in Aussie Rules, so you can kick it as low or as high as you want.
So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
No worries.
No, I think I'm all done.
Thanks, James.
All done, yeah?
Cheers, thank you so much for that.
So, go for it.
Great. Well, you're playing Northumbria tomorrow, so how are you guys feeling ahead of that game?
Yeah, training's been good all week, so we're just looking forward to tomorrow now. Hopefully get the win.
So it's looking kind of at the moment it might be quite difficult to win the league. So what is your primary goal for the rest of the next few games then?
I think it's always a priority to get the home quarter-final, so that means finishing in the top 4. Obviously trying to get as many wins as we can now, this side of the year.
So there are a few people coming back into the squad. You yourself have just come back into the squad recently. What's that like? Is that giving the team a boost as you head into a new year?
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, it's just, as always, boys, rugby's a sport, there's lots of injuries, so there's always a boost to have boys coming back in. Like, I think Ethan's come back from injury the last couple of weeks, and there's lots of changes this week, so yeah, it's good, always good to have change.
Last game was the Cardiff clash, of course. How was that for you, in front of the big crowd at the Arms Park? Obviously coming away with a narrow win, obviously must have felt unbelievable.
Yeah, it was awesome to be fair. Pretty nerve-wracking towards the end, similar to the first one, it came down to a kick, I think both games have, so yeah, it was good.
As you said, the top 4 seems to be the aim at the moment. The game at the end of the season against Exeter here at home looks to be probably one of the most important ones. How important will it be to get the run of games into there, like positive wins, positive performances, as well as results?
Yeah, momentum's massive in rugby. We come off the back of a win against Bedwas 2 Saturdays ago in the champ team one Saturday, so hopefully it'll lead into us on Wednesday now as well. And it's similar, we aim to win and win and win, and that's like hopefully winning becomes a habit then.
You're talking about that championship team. How important is it for the team to have that availability to give players game time on the weekend, potentially then to come back into the team? Dalchueti this week, he's back into the squad.
Well, it's just a massive boost, to be honest. Just makes training better. It's competition for places. Just lifts the club really.
You've had last 2 weeks. We spoke just then about a mini pre-season, I guess. Can you explain to us what sort of stuff you've been getting up to in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been tough after Christmas, to be honest. We've had 2 good training weeks, lots of rugby sessions, lots of conditioning sessions. Yeah, so we're more than ready for Wednesday now.
There's been a few changes to the team. Romajang is on the bench. We see Steph Davis coming in at fullback. Is it important to have that strength in depth, do you think, for people to come in and prove that they can perform at Buck Super Rugby level? Yeah,
100%. Like, we got a squad of about 30 plus boys we train every day, so the level's like really high. Steph's performed really well in Championship. He's tore up, to be fair, the last couple of weeks, so he deserves a shot, yeah.
And then other players, Joe Cowell and Rhys Barrett, they are training with Wales under 20s. That's on top of the talent we've got in the squad now as well. How good is it to have that type of player in the squad and in amongst it?
Oh yeah, it's a massive achievement for them to be fair. So yeah, everyone in the club is really happy for them, and hopefully they can get a captain on the Six Nations.
Yeah, and great news for Cardiff Med as a whole, with Aaron Wainwright, Luke Northmore and Don Brand getting into their respective nations teams. Does that give you inspiration as a player, looking forward ahead to your career post playing in university?
I think everyone comes to Met knowing they can hopefully progress through the pathway and hopefully come out of it as a professional. It doesn't happen for everybody, obviously, and but obviously it obviously proves that there's a perfect place to progress in rugby.
And now coming in, there's a lot of third years looking forward to potentially getting contracts after university. Do you think the intensity of the whole league will go up now with players looking to prove themselves and grab a contract maybe with one of the teams?
I think it's pretty obvious Bucks is a massive shop window for players, and I think that means first, second or third years really. I think it's clubs definitely look at Bucks, so hopefully yes, but obviously massive emphasis on the team comes first, and it's all about Met getting being as best as we can, and hopefully as individuals we can thrive as well.
As we mentioned before, so tomorrow is another home game. You've played incredibly well, generally at home, unbeaten streak still, hoping to maintain that tomorrow. But what are you kind of hopefully looking to do to secure more wins away from home as well?
I think playing away in Bucks is tough, especially with crowds. Lots of boys' first experience of playing against a crowd in lots of places. I think it's hard to answer, to be honest, because you don't really, like, for me it's just a patch of grass in a different place, but other people do have other perspectives on playing away, so I think it's just definitely something we should look into improving in the new year now.
Yeah. Thank you everyone. Cheers.
Anyone?
No worries.
Anyone? No. All good? Easy one.
Are you like fully fit and playing at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you playing tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I would be like, I got the ball tomorrow. Like, no, I'm playing. Sick.
Okay?
Yeah, sweet.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, so just us then. We're just looking forward to tomorrow's game, another Bucks fixture. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, really excited. Obviously, first Bucks fixture back after Christmas. Looking out to go for a win. Obviously, win this game, the next game, win the league. So
Yeah, so it's been a very strong start to the season for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've had a very good run in from the beginning.
Yeah, so your last fixture, I believe, was a thrashing against Hertfordshire, 11-0.
Yeah.
Were you involved in that game much?
I played at the back myself, so it wasn't a huge amount from the back given forward because most of it was in their half. But it was a good performance from the whole team all round. Quite nice for some people to get on the score sheet. So.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think something is you try and instill at Bucks level? You want to try and keep as many clean sheets as possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. The cleaner the sheets, the better, because it means we can progress forward a lot more, and it shows how strong we are as a team.
And then obviously really capable of scoring goals, and then really good at keeping clean sheets, obviously away from your own goal as well. But it's very dominant that every season it seems that Cardiff Met are really good at winning the Bucks League and the division before going to the playoffs. Do you see that as an opportunity really to kind of experiment with the squad and see what works, and maybe try and find a winning style or formula for when you do get to the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the games now are kind of we want to win, so you don't really want to change too much. But the Hertfordshire game, like where we obviously won 11-0, we did mix up a little bit and tried new things and see what worked nicely and what didn't, which was quite a nice experience. But I think there's not too much change really because we're not going to change something that works.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you see obviously in the playoffs that obviously the difficulty of fixtures get there. It's an important part for every university team, as for yourselves as well. Do you think it's something that is possible for you to go all the way this time, maybe all the way to the final?
I do think the team's got it in us, especially if we all turn up with the right mentality and want to win, which we do most weeks. So fingers crossed, yeah, we get there, because that's what I want, and I know the team wants it as well. So. And
also, just on sort of like finding that winning formula, is there anything that isn't fraud into all of you coaching wise? Is something that's a consistency amongst all Bucks coaches and maybe some of the Premier League coaches as well, in trying to find a specific style? And if you do, what is that style? What is your sort of philosophy in playing?
I think with the Bucks game, like this team, we work very well from the back forward instead of just lumping it forward like most teams do. We like to play out from the back and work our way up. That's how we work as a team. We figured it out this year very early on. We're a team that likes to keep the ball and likes to move the ball around within the team. Where you find some teams can put the ball, like pump the ball forward the whole 90 minutes and it works. For us, that doesn't really. We can pump it forward for at least maybe 45, but we like to get the ball on the ground and play.
Yeah, there's been some stand-up performances this season, and some players have really taken the spotlight, of course, from our Cardiff Met Sport TV's perspective. Players such as Ellie Priest and Emily Richards play for both Bucks and the Premier League side. How have they really helped the team this season for Bucks and the Premier League? How has it been training with them as well?
Definitely, Ellie Priest going forward, like her playing up top, so it's a brilliant thing because you've got to pump it forward and she's there. No matter how hard you kick it or you think, oh, I've kicked it a bit too hard, you haven't got to worry about it. Ellie Priest is there. I've never seen a player so quick, especially her height as well. She's quick, she gets there and she plays the right balls. Emily Richards, she's a good player in the middle. She put the ball forward, nice outward balls again to Ellie Priest and to Eliana. She's got quite a good left foot and right foot on her, so each side it comes to her, she can take a ping.
And as well, you just mentioned Eliana Chavez, one of the American students that we have here at Cardiff Met, along with also the goalkeeper Annabelle Sweeney, two American players. What do they bring to the team? What do they bring outside of playing as well?
They both bring great experience to the team, especially as for myself, I play at the back, so Annabelle from the behind always giving us that information what we can't see and she can, which is great because as a centre back you always want your goalkeeper to talk to you. And they, like, again with Eliana, she brings great experience. She's a good winger. She can play up top as well. She's quick. She knows what she's doing, so it's handy playing with experienced players.
Do you play in the league team as well?
I do indeed, yeah.
Is it good, do you think, playing in both Bucks and league, playing 2 games a week? It can be a bit much though, can it?
It can be sometimes, but I quite enjoy it, so I can't get enough.
Yeah.
So.
You played on Sunday against Cardiff, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
What was the dressing room like after that? Obviously a huge win, I mean.
Yeah, it was a huge win. Obviously, we weren't obviously too happy about the conceding 3 goals, but we were happy we came away with 3 points. At the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah.
So we weren't too bothered.
What do you think you can do after this now? Because you've sort of not really kicked Cardiff City out of the title race, but you've sort of put them 6 points below you now. Do you think you can catch Swansea in the league?
It's quite a big question, that one. We want to catch Swansea in the league. I'm pretty sure if we're all determined to do it and we all want it enough, we're all hungry. So it's obviously down to us players to go out and turn out on Sunday.
You've got them on the cup as well.
We have, yeah.
What do you think? You reckon you can do that?
I think we could, yeah.
Surely if you beat them on Sunday.
Yeah, we're coming off 2 wins in the last 2 weeks, so I think that's a good high to go off with.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way.
Definitely, they'll make you the favourites.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that's what it is.
Have you ever won a trophy personally before?
I have done, but obviously not in Wales, back home. But yeah.
Who did you play for before?
I used to play for Lewis FC.
Yeah.
But obviously, like where I'm from is quite small clubs, so that's the biggest club I've played for so far. And then obviously Cardiff Met.
Are you a student here?
I am, yeah.
So what are you studying?
Sports, physical education, and health.
Okay.
And just on that, the cup game this weekend, you see that as a really good opportunity to see where you are. Swansea, obviously, the title contenders at the minute.
Yeah.
If you can beat them, you can also think, well, the cup should be there. You can go all the way. You've beaten pretty much the best team in the competition. But what is it maybe you can learn from that 4-3 victory from last weekend, maybe heading towards that game this weekend?
Maybe we can't take just having a 3-0 advantage too lightly as such. I think at half-time we were all pumped that we were 3-0 up and like, we've got a bit of a comfort blanket to sort of relax a little bit. But against Swansea, we won't be able to do that. And I think we learnt that this weekend, that you can't relax a bit too much.
I spoke with Emily Allen just after the game against Cardiff, and it seems, and as well as Izzy, the manager, and it seems to be just a bit of confusion really of how it sort of went from 3-0 leading at half-time and then Cardiff City just having that momentum, getting back into the game. Have you had a look in training yet and seen possibly where the errors occurred and how they managed to get back into the game so easily?
I think we just had a bit of a 10-minute spell where we sort of lost touch with each other, and that's where they kind of got a bit of advantage. Each shot they had an advantage to score, and they took it and it went in the back of the net. So there's not much you can really say about that apart from we switched off for 10 minutes and it cost us 3 goals.
Yeah, and just finally really, so you got the form back, the phase 1's finished now. You said that you've got opportunity and maybe aspirations to try and go and win the league, but is there anything in particular that you want to try and improve on in terms of us maybe keeping clean sheets in the league as well, or something you're going to try and focus on perhaps working on this weekend?
I think, like you said, like keeping clean sheets is a big one for us, and coming away with the 3 points is the big thing for us. But Swansea, obviously we want to go out and beat them in the cup and in the league, so it'll be a nice challenge.
I think that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Great. So, Women's Premier League, a new league. How are you feeling ahead of your first fixture of the year?
I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool to see everyone in action. I think although we've not had a lot of time to train together as a team, we've worked together individually throughout National League and in other games. So it'll be good to see everyone come together and see what we can do.
So tell us a bit more about your team. Who is in it? Are there kind of GB people in the squad? Are there Welsh players in the squad? Yeah, what does the setup look like in the team?
We're lucky we've got quite a few Welsh players ourselves, but we've got a couple of ex-GB players and current GB players. So Jade Atkins, she went to the European Championships this year. We have Katie Morrow and Leah Evans. They're both ex-Paralympians. So it'd be great to have their knowledge and advice on the team.
Yeah, it's getting quite a lot of coverage at the moment from like the BBC. How important is it to you lot that it is seen nationally and it is covered by these big networks?
I think being on the BBC is absolutely massive in terms of these guys being role models. You know, they can be fantastic role models, but sort of that old phrase, you know, if you want to be, you have to be able to see it. So the fact that they can be on the BBC or every game is on BBC or YouTube, it's had some fantastic media coverage so far. It's really important that people see both female role models, disabled sports role models, and then fantastic basketball players sort of all at the same time. The opening game on the BBC at the weekend was great to watch, and we're just so looking forward to sort of our turn, almost in the spotlight as it was, but it was also great to see Robin Love, GB and Loughborough captain, talking about how she didn't know the sport existed for ages, and maybe, you know, we can get this sport into people's homes and into their lives at a much earlier age and really sort of get loads more people and broaden that participation base. So it should be really exciting.
Yeah, and what do you, if you could explain to somebody who hasn't seen it before what they should expect when they watch it for the first time, what the game's like?
It's not too dissimilar to running basketball. Most of the rules are broadly the same. There's a few different rules about contact and a few of the sort of minor violations, but you know, you can expect to see a lot of action, a lot of contact and collisions. You know, it can be a really physical game. It's not sometimes not for the faint of heart. You know, there's a lot of speed and agility on display. I think people you know, can't forget that some of these players are fantastic athletes. They've got, you know, fantastic agility or strength. There's a lot of skill involved, and if you're into sort of, you know, your more tactical sports, there's a lot of nuance involved as well. If you're a bit more of a nerd like me, people have got certain roles they need to fulfill. But fundamentally, basketball's, I mean, a fantastic game. Regardless of if you're running a wheelchair, it's end-to-end action all the time. And I think that the game on the weekend, once they got their nerves out of the way, it proved to just be that, two really good teams going back and forth. And I think, you know, when people watch our home games or tune into the away games, then they should expect to see that same sort of action.
So you're very competitive, but you're in a competitive league now, very exciting league to be in. So what does a typical training week now look like for you? Has that changed since this new league has come about? Or?
Yeah, since us who have centralised here, we've moved. We've got a lot more training. We train more or less like 15 hours a week with games and maybe extra training on the weekend, but it's given us a lot more strength and it's helped us like prepare for the season more. I think we've got that advantage, and none of the other, you know, teams have got as many centralised players as we have. So I think, you know, that's an advantage for us that we see each other every day. We can train, we know how each other plays, how we think, and yeah, hopefully that'll be a good advantage for us.
So looking at the other squads in the league, there's East London Phoenix, you're playing this Friday, and then Loughborough Lightning and Worcester Wolves as well. Who do you see as being your kind of biggest competition in the league? Kind of said that you have a kind of slight advantage, perhaps being more centralised, but yeah, who is your biggest competition?
I think Loughborough will be our biggest competition. I think we could match up well against Worcester. They've not got a lot of height. We've only got a couple of players who have got the height advantage as well, so I think we match up quite evenly. London will be interesting this weekend. They've got Amy Conroy. She's a GB senior women's player. She's very tall, very fast, very agile. So it could be a tough one against her, but I think it could be a good game.
So as you explained to us beforehand about the kind of point system with subbing, can you explain, for the benefit of our listeners, what subbing looks like in this style of basketball?
So with running basketball, you can put anyone on court at one time, but with us, we've got a point system. So in the Premier League, it adds up to 14.5. So if you have someone with a higher disability, they might be lower. So the point scale goes 0.5 to 5. Fives can't play internationally. Myself, I'm a 4-point player, but we've got people on the team who are 1.5s or 2s, and you've just got to add them all together to try and get the most efficient team on court.
Awesome. If you were to describe how it feels right now to be making history in sport, what would you describe it as? Because you are making history.
Exciting.
Exciting.
You don't see it as that. I guess we train so much for it, and we've had such a long pre-season. We don't necessarily, think of it in that sense. I think we're all just excited to get on court and play together.
Yeah.
It's a new thing, a new team, and I think we've got a lot of youth on the squad, and I think that's going to bring a lot to our team where we might have the advantage.
Are you excited for there to be crowds watching, or?
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great to have big crowds. A lot of us haven't played against, with massive crowds supporting us. Hopefully they'll be at our games, but I'm excited for that. I think it'll bring a big atmosphere to the games.
Yeah. Will that affect your play?
I think it'll spur us on more than anything.
Yeah, lovely.
So in the coming years then with this new league, what do you personally hope to achieve, and then what do you hope that the team achieves and wheelchair basketball going forward?
Who'll go first?
I just hope it brings more young girls really into the sport more than anything, and if they decide they want to go to the level and come and play in the Premier League, that would be fantastic. But ultimately, it's about getting more people into the sport and recognising that it is something that can be great. Myself, I didn't want to do wheelchair basketball when I first came into it, but I decided I needed to do something, and I had a go, and after my first session I was just hooked, and I just wanted to carry on, and I knew I wanted to kind of get to this level, and I'm excited to be here.
I think there's a couple of main things. Obviously, we want loads of people to come to the games and watch and have a great time. First home games on the 12th, and then we're on the BBC on the 26th. So that's sort of really exciting for the current players to expand their skill sets and either try and develop from sort of fringe players into core players, or star players to develop into international players. So that pathway element, but also getting young players into wheelchair basketball. We run a community session on a Thursday night, and we have 12 there. Varying stages of from the ages 6 to 7 through to 25-year-olds. Most of them haven't played much wheelchair basketball, and that's really exciting to just see people getting into the sport at the very first time, and now they'll be able to either watch the players that work with them on those Thursday training sessions on the TV, or they can look there and see, oh, that's someone from my area, or that's someone who's got a similar disability to me. So to hopefully get those people hooked into basketball as a whole sort of basketball family, both running and wheelchair, that would, if that was the case, that would be fantastic for me.
And Tom, how did you get into this? So into wheelchair basketball? Have you always just done basketball and then progressed, or how did you get into it?
So I was a running basketball coach, and I still am, but that was what I first did. So I went through from National League Women to WBL. I've done some senior stuff with Wales, with the National League Men here as well. So I've sort of coached quite a few ranges of age, gender, etc. Saw the opportunity for wheelchair basketball. That looks like a fantastic thing to be a part of the Women's Premier League, working with elite athletes on a more regular basis than just twice a week. And so far, it's been sometimes a challenge, but it's a fantastic opportunity and a challenge. And I think one thing that I said we had a team meeting last night before the game on Friday. One of the things I said was we're very lucky to be in this position to either play or coach the sport that we love. And I think it's always important for me to remember that I love basketball. So the fact that I get to coach it every day is fantastic. And these guys love playing basketball. So the fact that they get to just get up and go play basketball pretty much every day is fantastic. And I think I've done a little bit of performance analysis on the side for a couple of running GB wheelchair. And I think that sort of all-round experience that I've got so far has only sort of spurs me on to want to keep going. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Nice. Do you have any ambitions for your future career?
I'd say I'm very lucky that I get paid to coach basketball right now, and I think a couple of years ago, if someone said, what do you want to do for a living? I said, I'd just like to be paid to be around basketball, and here I am. So I can't really ask for much more than someone thinking that you're good enough to go and coach basketball, so would you like to go coach basketball? It's fantastic.
Lovely.
And what are your hopes and aspirations, Becca, then for the kind of coming months within the sport and maybe outside it?
I'm excited for this Premier League. I think we could got just as good a chance as anyone else. But I've been selected to go to the trials for the Commonwealth Games. So I'm excited for that coming up. But I'd also like to get more deepened, like position within GB, and I'd like to play on the senior squad one day. I think that would be great.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, any questions? No. That's great then.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.